Hey everybody, welcome to Optimism Fractal. We're here for our 30-second meeting. I have the pleasure to be here with Abraham and Rosmari and Tadas and Hodlon and Jean and Snar, who's joining for the first time. Welcome, Snar. Thanks for joining. Thanks to everybody for joining. Great to see you all. It's been really cool catching up, and we're going to go into the respect game and also share the exciting topics on the agenda and stuff we're going to do today. So if anyone wants to say hello or anything like that, as always, feel free to, but otherwise I'll just jump into the presentation. And as I've been saying this, I feel like I've repeated myself a lot, so maybe I'll mix up my intro a little bit going forward. But yeah, really appreciate everybody being here with us. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day out there. Welcome to Optimism Fractal. Optimism Fractal is a community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance on the Optimism Superchain. This is a recently approved new core intents for Optimism Fractal with the addition of optimizing governance and the superchain, as we discussed in last week's episode. And optimismfractal.com is a website that helps you learn about the Optimism Fractal community. There's a lot going on here. So there's some guide for what to do to get involved. You can join events. We host events every Thursday at 17 UTC that provide a great place to network and make friends and collaborate with talented innovators on the superchain and the collective. And you can earn respect with our respect game. So basically, for the next 45 minutes or so, after the presentation, each person will share what they've been doing to help optimism. Then we'll collaborate to rank each other's contributions, and then we'll each earn respect if we can reach consensus. And people who help optimism more earn more respect. Everybody can watch and learn and enjoy and take part in the show as well, because we produce each video and we share it on YouTube and optimismfractal.com/videos, which you can find in the top right corner. And you can also build with respect too, because we're building tools. It's called the OP Fractal stack, but Tadas is actually really something called Fraps. So any community can build and play and use these consensus games and so forth for their communitarization. It's a great place to develop your on-chain career and business. We're building in public. We have a Notion site where you can get involved with many projects and tasks and so forth. Feel free to reach out if there's any way you want to get involved. And there's funding opportunities too, with both terms of any project that you have to measure the impact for the collective with retro funding. And also by contributing to Optimism Fractal and participating in other exciting opportunities like On-Chain Summer, which we discussed last week too. So you can learn more by clicking the links. As I said, we also have a core intent to optimize governance, and we are trailblazing the future of governance with fractal democracy. We have a history article here where you can learn more, and we have a council that people can join each week, and also a town hall event, which we have at the end after the respect game too, that everybody can join for a half hour of discussions about optimism, the superchain, and so forth. Nurtured by Eden Fractal, which has been pioneering this process for 2 years. Everybody's welcome to join those events too, which I'll mention briefly. And Optimistics team started this back in October 23. So we're at our 32nd event, and it's such a pleasure collaborating with everybody. You can learn more about the superchain, Optimism, at optimism.io and base, and welcome to join at our weekly events too. That's the best way to get involved. So check out optimismfractal.com to learn more about what we're doing here, and go to loo.ma/optimismfractal to register and get email reminders for weekly events, and invite friends too. We'd love to meet more people and share all these great things we're doing. Check out the Optimism Fractal Warpcast channel /Optimism Fractal. A bunch of great posts here from Snar and Rosmari and so forth about all the cool things that are coming up. Today we're going to be discussing Optimism Season 6 at the Town Hall event after the respect game. So we'll get into that briefly. Yeah, and like and retweet too. Rosmari and Optimistics and myself and others have been putting out some tweets and casts and so forth to spread the word. There was recently the video that was released for the Superchain leaders where we discussed our governance intent too. So I'm very proud to be taking part in this as well, alongside Rosmari and all the great builders here. And you can check out the tweets and like and share and so forth to help more people understand the benefits that we're creating with governance and all sorts of other stuff, as my screen kind of wigs out a little bit there. So there we go. We've also been posting some videos directly on X too, which is pretty cool. So you can check them there up in the promotional game. And last week we discussed base builders. You can check out the videos page to see all the episodes we've discussed and played the respect game and discuss other topics for season 3 and further back to the beginning of Optimism Fractal. And you can also see that on the Eden Fractal YouTube channel too, as well as many other great videos. Rosmari posts great kind of like blog posts on the Optimism governance blog too since the beginning of season 3. So you can catch up on all the progress that we've been doing and see the most recent overview of the respect game and today's town hall too. And I also want to give a quick shout out to the developers in the community too. And in particular, I want to give an update about the software that Tadas has been building. He just shared an update about the app he's building and also Fraps too, which he'll share more about in the room when we play the respect game. But just want to let everybody know that Tadas shared this, and this is a pretty foundational piece of development for communities to play the respect game and other things as well, and do these kinds of fractal governance processes. So you can check this out in the governance forum, and he's got a repo to at Fraps, where you can learn more. We also discuss this in detail. You can check out the repo and explore the different things. We discuss this more in our 20th episode too during the town hall, so you can find more there. And I posted a little bit about why I'm so excited about these tools. Also, special shout out to Hodlon and Abraham too, who have also been involved in different kinds of development too. So really excited to see the next steps. But we'll go into that more later. I just want to give a really quick high-level overview and intro for anybody who's watched the beginning of the episode, and check out the Optimistics calendar too. In addition, we also host Eden Fractal on Wednesdays. Everybody's welcome to join to help pioneer these fractal decision-making tools. And just yesterday, we hosted an event about fractal pitches, where people can pitch these kind of consensus processes like the respect game. And we also hosted an event, our 2-year anniversary of Eden Fractal, where we had a bunch of fractal leaders talking about all sorts of inspirational stories about fractals and so forth. So it was really cool, and just want to thank and let everybody know about all the cool stuff going on in the fractal ecosystem. Like I said, we'll have the town hall at 18 UTC, which comes up right after the event. And the way that works is Andrew can pose with respect and vote on topics with respect on topics. So everybody's welcome to post topics, so let us know if there's anything you want to discuss during this half hour afterwards, and you're welcome to stick around if you can. And the topic for today's event will be Optimism Season 6, which provides a lot of great opportunities for public goods creators to receive funding and play a leading role in the collective governance. So looking forward to getting to that. And also the on-chain summer, the deadline is in a few days, and we have the video about that. So just want to give a couple of updates, but we're getting into the respect game. So we're going to go into breakout groups, I think, of 3 to 6 people. And then we're going to be, each person's going to get up to 4 minutes to share their recent contributions to the Superchain and Optimism. And then we're going to rank each other's contributions. I think everybody here is quite familiar, except for maybe Snar. But if you have any questions, then feel free to ask anybody in your room, or go to optimismfractal.com/welcome for the game rules. And we also have another article with more detailed game rules on optimistics.io/respect game. Just one last thing too, if anybody wants to record the breakout room, then feel free, and I can give you recording permissions before we head into the breakout room. Everybody's welcome to do so. And otherwise, thanks all for being here once again, and I think we're ready to go into the breakout rooms. So I'll start them up and hope that everybody has a wonderful time. The only thing would be there are 7 people, so if anybody did want to just listen, then we could just stay in one room. But I think we probably all want to play the game, so I suppose it's probably best to go into 2 breakout rooms. But if anybody did just want to listen, then feel free to let us know right now. But otherwise, I'll create the breakout rooms. Okay, breakout rooms are started. Have an awesome time. Hey.
Is this just audio or audio and video recorded?
The audio and video recorded. So you're welcome to join on video if you like, or if you prefer to stay on just audio, then that works too. And the audio and video recorded, and we publish both the audio and video on YouTube each week.
Okay, I didn't know if the main meeting room was recorded and then the breakout rooms were not recorded, or you guys just assemble all the rooms together in the video.
So the way we do it right now is that the room that I'm in, we publish as the main video. Just for I talked about this a lot with our with Rosmari, who produces the videos. And so currently we have it where the room I'm in gets produced and published on the YouTube channel, but we've also just been starting to, well, she's been recording and posting them on the Notion site, and she's going to start posting her breakout rooms on the YouTube channel as well pretty soon. And then we're just encouraging everybody, if they want to record and publish it and so forth on a YouTube channel or wherever else, then they can. Also, this process to the respect game doesn't necessarily need to be recorded and shared on YouTube as well, but we just see a lot of benefit into sharing the recording the breakout room too, to promote everybody's work and so forth.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have any questions, Snar, if you have any other questions about that or anything else that's unclear about the respect game to you, then feel free to ask. Or if you'd like to introduce yourself to the audience and everyone here, then you can feel free to do so. We can also start playing the respect game, where each person will get 4 minutes to share what they've been doing. We only have 4 people in the room, so we could probably take 5 minutes each if we want. Yeah, we'll each get 4 or 5 minutes to share what we've been up to and to help optimism lately. But yeah, if we want to go, if anyone wants to go first and share that, then feel free to go ahead. Floor is open. Or if Snar, you feel like ask any questions or anything like that, then feel free to. Would anybody like to go first?
I'll go ahead and jump in, I guess.
Cool.
So I'm Snar, been around for a few years, and my contribution is an evolving project involving hardware, a commonly available hardware globally, which is the Raspberry Pi platform, and building out blockchain integrations directly via the Raspberry Pi. So, avoiding Apple, Google, Microsoft, and being able to create linkages to the blockchain directly to the contracts. So that's been the goal in my most recent development has been integrating Optimism on there, which was really exciting that Uniswap has Python code to facilitate integration with all the Uniswap contracts. So that makes it really easy for me to basically have a configuration file where anyone can add in whatever tokens they want to correspond with whatever Uniswap pools to be able to get super favorable, trading. And of course, this is deployed by a press of a button. So people without tech familiarity can engage with the contracts directly and get kind of a very basic like intro type understanding of what it means to work with decentralized processes. And so I'm really keen on trying to get this device into sort of like STEM type curriculums where I can get very early coding students into getting to play around with contracts, the L2s, and be able to create some sort of just different, fully customizable like processes using this devices for like physical spaces when people are getting together, not just digitally but physically. So that's kind of the some of my interests around development of this device. And I have the repo is Pi Ethereum. It's on GitHub. It has all the build instructions to building your own version of this device. And again, there's a configuration file, so people can customize it to whatever tokens they want to be able to swap back and forth. For example, my demo, which is on my Twitter page, I just posted it yesterday, is USDC to WST ETH, and and it's works smoothly. So
Fascinating. Thank you, Snar. That's really interesting to learn about. So one thing that I could have mentioned before that I forgot is that everybody's welcome to share their screen. So I'll make sure to remind people about that. But if you did want to share your screen at any point and show us what you're working on then, Snar, then you could feel free. And also, if you want to share any links like to your GitHub repository, then that would be very welcome. You can do so in the Zoom chat. And also, I just shared the link to the Optimism Fractal Discord too. So if you share it there, then everybody can see it. And that's very welcome to do.
Okay, great. So like the Twitter, I on my Twitter page, I have a video demo, and I'll place, so should I just put the links basically to the GitHub and to the Twitter demo?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to see the demo. And I see Tadas is very interested too, it looks like. He's making it clear. Okay, cool. That's github.com/snarflake/PIE Ethereum wallet. Okay, and if there's anything else you wanted to share, Snar, I think I didn't put the timer on, but I think you maybe had another minute or two to add anything if you wanted to. But otherwise, if you're ready to pass it on, then you can pick somebody to go next. Also, if you want, I could. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I guess I'll pass the torch to Tadas. Tadas.
Okay, thanks, Snar. That's a very interesting project. I will want to look into it when I have time. Now, regarding my contributions, yeah, so I was programming a lot this week on the. Now I'm kind of confused how to call it. In some sense, it's traps, but it's mostly right now. I'm working on one specific app that's called what I call or DAO, optimistic respect-based DAO. So it's based on earlier Orec concept I introduced earlier, optimistic respect-based executive contract. I will share the links in the chat later. And I also shared the link to the main repo in Discord today. So yeah, specifically this week, I made the backend service that is needed for this app much more robust. Specifically, this service is used for storage persistence. Yeah, made a lot of improvements to development scripts. In general, I more thoroughly tested a lot of functions I developed earlier and fixed a lot of issues. Because the plan was to deploy this week, but those issues kind of got me delayed. And yeah, besides, one of the main improvements was to the Orec smart contract. It had one potential vulnerability, I would say, where respect holders could spam the contract with proposals, and that would force other respect holders to defend, and that would cost them gas because they would have to create transactions. This is potential vulnerability because it's still only respect holder could do that. But still, I kind of think there has to be some kind of protection against that, and the simple protection I implemented right now is that there is a limit to how much live proposals you can vote on. Live proposal being a proposal which is not yet rejected or executed. And yeah, so I'm thinking of setting that limit to about 6. So to simplify, that would mean you would be able to vote yes on about 6 proposals per day. I think that's plenty, but it would prevent spam attacks. And yeah, additionally, I added an interface basically created an interface which you can access from browser console in a front-end app, which allows you to interact with a contract and the backend service and kind of try it out. And yeah, I created but I finally documented most of these modules that I've been working on. Yeah, so I was planning to deploy a full app this week, but I at least have a base on which an app could be like fully developed. I mean, front end could be fully developed, and yeah, if not me, then I think this documentation would help someone else finish it. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Super cool. Thanks so much, Tadas. If you want to pick somebody to go next, Hodlon or me, then you can. Or if there's anything else you want to add, then feel free as well.
Nope. You can. Can you go, Dan?
Yeah, I can go. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. I think also maybe Snar, I did pull up your GitHub and your Twitter post, and so I think maybe I'll show that real quick on screen so people can see what you're talking about. I think that's probably cool with you. Let me know. Okay, sounds good. So before I go, I'll just real quick, because I already showed a little bit what Tadas was working on before, but I think that seeing this visually for people who aren't familiar with a Raspberry Pi might be pretty cool. Just as a quick preview, you can check this out at Snar, Punks GAN on Twitter, and then you can see this is the Pi here. And it's an Optimism wallet, so that's it's super interesting there. Well, yeah, I'm definitely interested in learning more about this. So thanks so much for sharing. And then the GitHub repository is over here. You can see a lot more details about it, and you can learn about these Raspberry Pis. I've heard a lot about these devices, and seems like a great initiative. So thanks so much, Snar, for sharing that. And of course, thank you to Das. I'm really excited about all the amazing developments going on the Superchain. And yet now I'll go ahead and share. If anybody has any questions, then feel free to ask them afterwards too. But I'll share what I did to help Optimism this week. And I didn't really have much chance to organize my presentation today. So I'll see what I can remember kind of off the top of my head. A lot of times I try to make a nicer presentation. I am a lot of times working in the Optimism Fractal Notion site, and there's a bunch of projects here. But I don't think I really created that many projects this week. This is the recently created. I probably edited a bunch of projects. You can see a lot of stuff I'm working on there. Some other people work there too, but a lot of the stuff is stuff that I'm working on here, and also in the tasks too. There's probably a whole bunch of tasks here. I've been working on engaging with the Optimism Collective and getting presentations and stuff ready for later, and figure out missions that we can make to help support Optimism Fractal and help support the Optimism Collective. I have also been making several tweets, and I've been providing feedback and collaborating with Rosmari, making tweets. She made a whole bunch this week promoting both the upcoming events, and then also my window is loading a bit slow right now. But yeah, promoting the upcoming events, promoting the videos and so forth. So I provide a lot of feedback on the artwork and the messaging and so forth for each of these promotions, or most of them, but she's getting better and better, and also just is able to write a lot of them like really well and make beautiful art on her own too. So but I'm always providing support there and lots of feedback. And I've also been pretty active in the Discord too. For example, Nuno was asking about fractal democracy and so forth in the chat. So I was going back and forth with Nuno and a couple other people in the brainstorming chat and finding some basic introductory articles to fractal democracy. So just kind of providing some educational resources and so forth, and chatting here and there in the chat. I made a post just before about announcing Optimism Fractal's intent to optimize governance in the Superchain. So this is after we approved the proposal with the after the Optimism Fractal Council approved the proposal to update its intent or core intents rather a couple weeks ago. I figured it's a good idea to share this with the wider Optimism Collective. So I made a little post here explaining this new change, as well as explaining some of the roots of fractal democracy and how we're excited to collaborate with the Optimism Collective and appreciate support, and encouraging everybody to RSVP and explore more and so forth. And then also linking to the governance forum post too, which I also helped out. I've been working with Rosmari on a new show called Base Play as well. I've been working to prepare for Onchain Summer, yeah, so I'm thinking of making 3 different pitches for Onchain Summer. One of them is, or 3 different things to build in the next 3 days. So it's gonna be pretty hectic. One of them is a show that's kind of like a playful show. It's a bit of a musical show where we play music and play games, but also explain things like what is Base and Onchain and Ethereum and L2 network and so forth. So engaging more with the Base community and working on developing the show. We've done a couple rehearsals over the past week. And then I've also been working a lot behind the scenes with Abraham and Tadas. I had a conversation with Abraham after last week's meeting for about an hour and a half about building wallet connection features for Optimism Fractal's app. And then also Abraham expressed interest in building a full front end. And so I kind of connected him with Tadas in a private chat. So these are all kind of like some private messages, I guess, but just all about, at some point, maybe I'll share some of the technical stuff publicly, but just kind of sharing all the stuff to help coordinate the development, because we're trying to build a respect game app, like a simple app that people can use to play the respect game on base in the next 3 days. So I've been collaborating there in the background. And then the other thing, which I didn't pull up, but the other project that I'm working on for the buildathon is a paragraph post, which is kind of, and I tried to pull it up here, but I didn't have a chance. So I just have like register an account, but I created an account on Paragraph, which is a great tool for making posts on chain and be able to mint them and so forth. So I created an account, and then I started writing a post about what I did this summer or what I did for this past month. And that's summarizing some of the stuff that I've been doing as far as well, hosting these events, and then working on all these tools and the base play stuff. And then also, and I'm forgetting because I'm not very well organized right now. And then also Eden Fractal, as I showed before, I've been working to mint NFTs for the anniversary event too. So kind of like providing a little introduction to the base community there. So there's my little disorganized presentation of what I've been doing. I'm sure there's been other stuff because I'm always working on this stuff full time, but I suppose that's probably been 4 or 5 minutes. So I'll wrap it up there. Oh, and then also one other thing too, I mentioned to Hodlon before we started recording that I worked for a couple hours this week on writing an introductory message for the Fractal App chat on the Optimism Fractal Discord. Hodlon and Bitbeckers wrote a product requirement document for a Fractal app about a month and a half, 2 months ago or so, and we talked about making a Fractal app chat, and we launched it. But I've been working on like making an introductory post that kind of summarizes development from Tadas, from Hodlon, from Abraham, and then also kind of just explains in a broader context to introduce that to help kick off like this kind of large scale open source decentralized development effort, and help contribute to that however I can. And I hosted the Eden Fractal meeting yesterday too, where we discussed fractal pitches, and there was like 7 people who shared some really cool pitches there in support of fractals. And I've also been thinking about a new schedule for Eden Fractal and a new epoch too, where we start using the tools and start playing respect games to achieve the mission of implementing fractal decision-making processes throughout society. So I'm remembering as I go, but I think that's all for now. And thanks for listening. And in the future, I'll also try to get this presentation a little bit more refined too. I could pass it on to Hodlon now. Hodlon, would you like to go next?
Sure. Thanks for sharing, Dan. You are doing a lot like usual.
Thank you.
And yeah, even though you didn't have your prepared presentation, you still did a good job of sharing it all.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I also see that you're on board with the Arc browser crew. I've been using it for a while and I love it. I love Arc browser. So shout out to Arc browser.
Same, huge shout out. I watched like all the YouTube videos or like a bunch of them after I learned about it. I went deep dive into it like 3 weeks ago when I learned it, and now it's like it's amazing. It's so much better than what I was previously using.
Yeah, it's better. It's different and better, I think, than any other browser, but I digress. Okay, so I will share briefly what I've been working on. Something I've been contributing to Macie, which is a anti-collusion, I guess, like voting protocol. And so there's a bunch of stuff on that team, on that development team, where they're kind of getting that integrated. I'm helping with integrations. So they're getting that integrated, like it was just integrated with Allo protocol that Gitcoin does to run like the Gitcoin grant stacks, quadratic funding. Then Macie also has kind of their own front end RPGF, quadratic funding platform as well that they've been working on, with kind of the intention of building that out into a more robust platform with more features. And so that's been nice to contribute to, and like the platform is kind of coincides or collides with what you were just talking about, Dan, the proposal the PRD that I made of kind of like a fractal app. Like all of these things are kind of included as well. And so imagining like what would it look like to integrate Macie using quadratic voting, quadratic funding with anti-collusion, integrated into an application like that as well, which is really exciting. And so that's Macie. I've also been contributing to hats as a hat steward. There is a function in Tadas, what you were talking about, like the spam prevention. There's this interesting thing. I was thinking of this as you were saying that, this interesting mechanism where they have a staking. So you have your proto votes, which are essentially like the respect tokens for the proto DAO, and you stake those in order to create new hats within kind of the DAO, right? But you're putting your votes or like kind of your respect tokens, staking them in order to do something, and then like if you abuse that or if you're misbehaving, then there's a role that can slash those. So you're kind of putting something up at stake. So I was thinking of that as maybe like an alternative or a different way to think about solving the spam prevention if we're talking about agendas or things like that. Where like, what if we staked respect tokens? So that's an interesting thought that I had. And then so I am staking those, and I created basically like a memeologist is what I'm calling it. But it's kind of an in-house like meme generation role. And then part of that is going to be they've introduced a Farcaster frame that integrates hats, so that if you're wearing a certain hat, you're given permission to cast on a shared Farcaster account. You can do that within the app, within the frame. Just like connect your wallet, one click, and then you can like cast, recast, do all of that stuff. And so I'm kind of, I guess, beta testing that, playing around with that. My dog's in the background. And yeah, that's everything for me.
All right, excellent. Thanks so much, Hodlon. That's fascinating. And really exciting too. So great to hear all the updates. I see Snar's unmuted, so I don't know, Tadas, if you want to get the fractogram ready, or if you want me to get it. But in either case, we'll have some time for just open questions or comments while we get the fractogram ready. So Snar, was there anything you wanted to comment on or ask, or does anybody else have any questions or comments for anybody?
So I don't know if I'm on the Telegram. It's not I'm a noob on this. So the Telegram it's on the Optimism Fractal.web.app.
Yeah, no problem. So it's a little confusing right now. We're working on making it all in one app, which we might have next week. But currently the way it works is that Tadas just shared a Telegram group in the Zoom chat that you can click on, and that will open up what we call Fractogram. It's basically a Telegram client where you use your Telegram account, and then Tadas is going to make polls where you vote like who got level 6, which is who helped the most, who got level 5, who helped the second most, and so forth. And then after that, there's going to be a little button that says click here to submit results, and then when you click there, then it's going to open up the web app, and then you'll submit it from there on chain.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think the website link wasn't letting me properly join or get into the, well, either way, I'm in there now.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And yeah, so we're all in there. We're just waiting for Hodlon. So whenever Hodlon joins, then we can start with the polls. And yeah, if anybody had any questions or comments for anybody, then feel free to share. I could also share a question or two as well that I had in my mind. I suppose I'll go ahead. Snar, one thing I was wondering was just with the Raspberry Pi integration, I was just wondering well, two things, I guess. One, is that just your personal project, or are you working on that with a team of some sort? And also, secondly, where is that in development? It seemed like from the video, like it was working correctly, and you said you wanted to start reaching out to like different schools, I think, and like get people to try using it and stuff. But curious to hear where that's at. Like, can people start using it now? And do you have future plans with it? Also, by the way, Tadas just put in a prompt to please enter your Optimism account as a reply to every message. So when you get a chance, please do that so that the web app will work correctly too.
Okay, I'll put that in there. So yeah, it's fully working. I've had this is kind of the most updated model to have with that config file. Before it was kind of very much like a clunky demo, and then ever since I put the config file together, that's when it really has come together, because the code, it's just hard to navigate through the code. But yeah, it's available for anyone to make, and I'm like, at this point, it's just kind of the demo. So that previous screen was the exact transaction, so you can see the transaction live, like the status, and here, this is just playing with 20 cents at a time. The idea here is that it costs nothing to be able to flip back and forth. And there's a pretty cool educational piece of understanding how the Uniswap pools work, because you need to learn how to select the pools that you're picking, so that the same fee rates, that you have the correct fee rate inputted. And pretty much this project integrates a lot of different people's work. Antoine, his work with Wallet Connect, because you can also connect to via Wallet Connect with this device, to any dApp that's Wallet Connect enabled. So yeah, Antoine, and then the people at Uniswap Python, there's the two main developers there. They're amazing. I mean, they don't have the base doesn't work yet, but Optimism is fully functional, so that's great. And yeah, it uses a lot of different modules. You can build it from scratch. I'm going to put together an image so that it's just a single download and people can start playing with it, because to build this thing out uses a lot of modules. Cryptography modules in Python. There's just a lot of, the build is it's kind of heavy to put together all the pieces, but yeah, I'm going to try it. My next step is to get an image together so it's you just go download it, flash it to a SD card, and plug it into a Raspberry Pi.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for providing more detail. Yeah, it seems like a really helpful device and innovation you're doing, so appreciate it very much. By the way, to Snar, when you put your account in the Telegram, you didn't do it as a reply to the message. That's like one little quirk that the software has, that it needs to be as a reply to the message. I see Tadas already put it out the poll for who should rank level 6, but it doesn't have Snar's account there, so I don't know.
Who do I reply to?
Just reply to where it says Tadas, please enter your Optimism account. And then I'll make sure that it gets put in correctly. And then Tadas, I don't know exactly how Fractogram works, if you need to remake the poll, or that's okay as is. You're muted, Tadas.
It's okay, it will pick it up.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, well, thanks so much for the overview. So now we only have 15 minutes up before the top of the hour, so we should probably get to consensus pretty soon. If anybody else had any other questions or comments, then feel free. I also had a question for Hodlon, but maybe I'll save that for afterwards too. And now, Snar, you can now vote on the poll too. So to last part of the poll, who should be ranked as level 6? That's basically, who do you think has helped Optimism the most? It's usually over the past week, but you can just say just recently based on what people shared. You can vote for whichever one of the 4 of us you think helped the most now in the poll.
Yeah, so level 6 is someone who contributed the most.
Yes, and it looks like we don't have consensus. What we need to do is we need to have at least 2/3 consensus, which in this case will be 3 out of 4 people, and so we have one vote for Hodlon from Snar, 2 votes for Snar from Hodlon to Tadas, and 1 vote for Tadas from me. So I'm happy to change my vote to Snar to reach consensus. It was really difficult for me because all 3 people doing really exciting stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to just switch over to Snar, I suppose. If anybody else wanted to elaborate on why they voted for who they did, then feel free. But otherwise, I'm happy to just switch over my vote so we reach consensus more easily. And Snar.
I think you should switch to Snar.
Okay, that sounds good. I did. So Snar got level 6. So that means that Snar gets the most respect for this week. Snar will get 55 respect. Each level gets about 60% more respect than the next level. So now who should be ranked as level 5? Who did the second most, basically? Now that poll is open so you can vote. One thing I wanted to ask Hodlon was, is Macie related to, I think, who's Bundle? Or was that a different project?
So Bundle is a separate project.
Okay.
Yeah, Bundle is like a community. It's kind of like Optimism Fractal.
Okay.
So Bundle is like its own thing. It's just it's more of a concept. And then Macie would be used. Macie is an actual code that you can hold in your hand. That is use it like a protocol to vote, to integrate into voting systems.
Okay, cool. If you want to share any links to that, I'd be happy to look into that and learn more about it.
Oh yeah, I'll post something.
I looked at the links, by the way, that you shared for Bundle, and I think it was called I Don't Know DAO, and both those were really inspiring. I started writing some comments, but I haven't yet shared them with you. So really appreciate your work and interest in integrating the respect game into these and all the great stuff you're doing in general. So thank you so much, and looking forward to it. And it looks like Hodlon got level 5.
Ooh. Yeah, I would appreciate if whenever you have a chance to post those, I'd love to hear your feedback on them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I could also perhaps just share the work in progress with you too, if that'd be helpful. I was actually thinking about doing that a few days ago, but I think I'll work on it a bit more and then share it with you. I'll try to do it later this week.
Sure.
And now the poll is up to vote for who should be ranked as level 4. And the only person who hasn't yet voted is Hodlon.
Oh, that's me.
Okay, Dan is level 4. Now wait for final message where you will see the link.
Okay, thanks all for the respect. I'll also note too, I voted for Tadas there. I also voted for Tadas level 5 when I changed to Hodlon. It was, like I said, really difficult. Tadas, what he's building is like incredibly hopeful. I'm so excited about Fraps. So congratulations on the Fraps release, Tadas. Love how you're getting into the coffee business now. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful innovation.
Yeah,
so I know you've been working really hard on that. What's that? Yeah, a little pivot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went back and forth in chat a bit, and we thought about how Mocha and there's some of these other like big like these big development kits or packages or whatever you want to call them are inspired by coffee because developers like that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's really exciting. So well, anyway, I have a lot of respect for what Tadas is building it for us. And giving this a thumbs up.
This stuff is really interesting. I'm involved in the Began Punks DAO from the beginning, and we've had a pretty vibrant decentralized DAO there. So seeing all these new tools are really fascinating.
Nice. Well, glad you like them. And look, I haven't heard about that group before, so looking forward to learning more about it.
What group is it?
Oh, it's just an NFT, like a AI PFP NFT DAO that the artist ended up passing the project onto the community for safe holding. So,
You talking about Motherfuckers or a different one?
no, the Began Punks.
Began?
Yeah, Bastard Gan Punks. It was like
Oh, cool.
It's like one of the biggest CryptoPunk kind of like derivative GAN AI based project.
Nice.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I saw your I think your Zora profile. I checked it on your Warpcast where you had some punk looking artwork there. So feel free to share any links to that or something like if you want, or share any more about it. And yeah, these tools they're all open source too, and especially with these new developments, they're going to be better than ever. So if that community wants to use it to help coordinate the stuff that DOS is building, is really helpful for like a decentralized smart contract execution and contract ownership in a super innovative way. And then there's lots of exciting developments happening to enable all community organizations to use these kinds of tools. So happy to help you out if you're interested in using these kinds of tools.
Yeah. So we're not using the Optimism Fractal web app. That's not being. Everything is done through the Telegram right now in this sort of fractal voting system.
No, that's not correct. So did you go and you see the second most recent post where it says results can be submitted here on the bottom? And the here is blue underlined because it's a hypertext link.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't. So click there.
Yeah, click there. And what that will do is I will open up the web app, and that will automatically include the public keys or the Optimism addresses for each account. So you should see you're at the top, for example, because you got level 6 and the Hodlon below you, and then you'll just log in there with MetaMask or whatever, or a Raspberry Pi perhaps, and then and then submit the transaction from there.
Okay, wow. Okay, and the 2, what does that mean up top?
That's room 2. There's 2 rooms,
so
we're in the
2.
second room. Yep.
Okay, so I just press submit.
Yep, that's right.
That's just confirming like what has happened in the Telegram, pretty much.
Yeah, so that post is on chain. So Telegram is all off chain, and right now we're just kind of generating the results in Telegram because we're using the easy polling feature and so forth there, and then it's putting it on the OP mainnet when it goes through the web app.
Oh, nice. And then there's that confirmation sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hodlon shared that.
Okay.
To just confirm that everybody has the same result. It always works just like that, basically. But just in case there's ever any uncertainty, then that's helpful to double check there.
Great. Okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah, and later the respect token will be distributed based on these results. So respect is non-transferable token.
Oh, okay.
Is
Based off
there
of
a plan? Oh, sorry.
What was that?
Right, based off of this on-chain data, then it's automatically distributed.
Well, currently not automatically. Currently, we're doing it manually.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the main features of this new version that I'm building, that I was talking about in my contributions, is that this distribution will happen, well, not totally automatically, but after a certain period of time, 3 or so days, anyone will be able to trigger distribution, even some random account. So basically, semi-automatic.
Awesome. Very cool. And so the app will incorporate just the Telegram sequence, or will it can also include the web app, the on-chain sequence of verification or like confirmation?
From user perspective, initial version of the workflow will work the same, at least what I'm building. So you will still have to use Fractalgram and then submit result on chain. The difference is that on chain the respect will be distributed semi-automatic.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, in the future, we obviously want to. We see a lot of room to improve this process where it would be all in one app.
Yeah, that would be helpful. But it's going to have to be one of those not an app store. What where you just put it on the home screen. One of those apps.
Yeah, it's planned to be a web app, which could work which could also work as a PWA, which might be what you're referring to.
Yeah.
But also it could just you only really need to use it once a week too, so you could just go to the site. Also, by the way, Abraham is working on building that all-in-one app experience, and he's aiming to do in the next few days. So alongside Tadas's development of those infrastructure parts and the backend and so forth, we might actually have that full front-end experience without having to use Telegram within the next few days as well. So that's an exciting development. And also, there's only 4 minutes left, and I know the other room has gone back to the community room already. So we could go to the community room now. I know Hodlon, you had another, you were saying something too. So feel free if you wanted to. Thanks for the applause, Snar. Appreciate it. Yeah, if anybody had any last comments for here, then feel free to share. And whenever we're ready, then within the next couple minutes, we'll head back into the community room.
I was just going to ask Tadas if and when it was planned to automate the respect distribution based on consensus, or if that is on the roadmap at all. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, as I was telling Snar, I'm planning to, as I say, semi-automatic distribution where after certain period of time and certain number of submissions, anyone will be able to trigger this distribution. But yeah, I think it would be hard to do it otherwise on the chain.
Or it could, it could maybe be like the council, like a job of the council. Once a month or whatever, the council comes through and collectively distributes them. I don't know.
Yeah, currently what I'm building uses a different model, uses Orec. And in that case, it's not needed. But yeah, there are other options. Sure, we can. Cool. I think we can explore them eventually.
Nope, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think that the version that Tadas built, it's a huge improvement over the manual process, and I think it'll be pretty similar to automatic. So I'm pretty happy with the result. I think that will provide. I'm very happy about it. But anyway, yeah, we can head back to the community room now. And if anybody needs to go at the top of the hour, then feel free. We'll also stick around for another half hour for the town hall for anybody who can join. And thanks also, Hodlon, for sharing the links to the Macie too at macie.psc.dev. Thanks for sharing that, and Tadas for sharing more about the GitHub stuff in the perhaps repository. So thanks so much, everybody, for the amazing respect game. If anybody had last thoughts, then feel free to share them here. But if not, then I will close the breakout rooms and we will head back to the community room, and then we can share more thoughts there as well. Okay, everybody can leave the breakout room by hitting the button now. So I think I'll do that now, and I'll see you there. Hello, hello.
Hello, Dan.
Nice to see you, Gene.
Nice to see you too, sir.
Bet you had a awesome time in your breakout room. Welcome, Zaal, too. Thanks for joining. Oh, was that Gene?
We sure did. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, great to hear. I saw you registered for the council this week and left some comments, so thanks so much for participating. Okay, very cool. I just noticed that my browser is having some issues, so I'm going to try just resetting my browser before I start giving the Optimism Town Hall presentation. We'll get started with Optimism Town Hall in the next couple minutes. maybe a minute late or something like that if the browser's getting issues, but we should be good to go shortly. Yeah, so that concludes basically the first hour where we play the respect game of Optimism Fractal, and we're going to head into the Optimism Town Hall for another half hour as Rosemary puts on the confetti cannon. Thank you very much. Hope everybody had an amazing time. Thanks to everybody so much for all the amazing stuff at helping out the Superchain and being here with us at Optimism Fractal. Can't express how much I appreciate it. Thanks for the applause too, Snar. It's wonderful to hear from Snar. Doing really cool stuff with Raspberry Pis and Optimism. I don't know if so if anyone wants to share any like quick thoughts before we head into the Optimism Town Hall, then feel free to share. Otherwise, I'm going to get this presentation up and running, and we'll have it up and running hopefully in a moment or two. And if anybody wants to drop off too, if anybody has to go, then feel free to do so as well. The
Snar,
topic.
what was your experience?
Oh yeah, yeah. Good point. Thank you for asking, Rosemary.
Say what?
I asked, how did you find it? How was your first ever Optimism Fractal and Respect game experience?
It was fun. It was kind of intense. A little bit with, you're entering into that evaluation state with people that you don't really know them, you're trying to potentially build a relationship with. So but no, really excited to see this stuff. It's very cutting edge, and anything to build decentralized processes is extremely interesting to me. So super excited to check all this stuff out.
Thank you very much. That's great feedback. I'm glad you liked it, and I'm curious, how did you find out about it?
I think Rosmari, you posted in the show and tell channel on the Optimism Discord.
Yes.
So that's what drew me in.
Okay, thank you for sharing, and thanks for reading the posts and coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, that's right. Thanks so much, Snar. Thanks for the feedback. Glad you enjoyed it. Feel free to reach out if you have questions. I shared the link with the Discord with you, which is a great place if you want to ask any questions, or feel free to get through to us in any way. And we have lots of documentation and resources that you can dive deeper. And also, thanks so much, Rosemary, for making the great posts and helping spread the word. I see Tadas said he had to go. Thanks for the meeting. See you. And Zaal said, sorry, today has been crazy. Hope all is well. See you in the next couple of weeks. So, I meant to give a shout out to Zaal. Started the Zaal Fractal, and he's on his 5th event that he hosted last week. So it's really cool to see people making fractals, and big shout out to Zaal and all the people doing amazing work. I have my presentation ready too. So if anybody has any last comments before we get going, then feel free to share. If not, then we can get into the topic of the day.
Let's go.
I think we're ready to go. Let's go. All right, cool. So here we go, starting Optimism Town Hall. So welcome everybody to Optimism Town Hall. Thanks everybody for being here. We have this event every Thursday at 18 UTC. Everybody's welcome to join. It's a collaborative space for open discussions, also structured discussions too, because we have a unique system of choosing topics with respect. You can join. Everybody's welcome to join and share their thoughts, and also invite your friends too to get involved in the Optimism Collective and Superchain and learn and discuss. So you can check out lou.ma/Optimism Town Hall to register for the weekly events, and also you can click around to find more information at the links over here. Thanks so much everybody for joining. There's an article with more details about it here too. And then we just had the Optimism Fractal event too. So we have the Optimism Fractal event every Thursday at 17 UTC, which is an hour before the town hall. And at the Optimism Fractal, we've been doing this for the past 8 months or so. Community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance on the Superchain, where we play a respect game where people can earn respect. So you can check out the full video and check out the full events. Everybody's welcome to join both of these events, the Optimism Fractal and the respect game, and you can learn more about this at optimismfractal.com. and all the initiatives that are going on, and how you can earn respect to vote on topics. The videos for the Optimism Town Hall are included in the Optimism Fractal videos right now. At some point, we'll probably produce them separately, but right now you can find them in the last half hour of Optimism Fractal videos at optimismfractal.com/videos or on YouTube. Last week, we discussed On-Chain Summer, which is a very exciting initiative going on with Base and the whole super chain, really. And as a reminder, there's about 3 or 4 days to apply if you want to build a project. So you can check out this video for all the details about On-Chain Summer. We had a really great discussion. Thanks everybody so much for participating. And we also discussed Superchain leaders and the core intents of Optimism Fractal and optimizing governance in Superchain previously. Reflection session. We've been playing around with different ways of voting with respect. So all sorts of cool ways to get involved. And you can check out all the videos to learn more about what we've been doing in the town hall. And Rosemary's also been putting up some topics and overviews of what we're discussing on the Optimism Governance Forum too. So at this week's event, we'll be discussing Optimism Season 6, which is a initiative held by the Optimism Collective that has a lot of great opportunities for public goods creators to receive funding for building great stuff on Optimism, and also to get involved with Optimism Collective governance too, and create the future of digital democratic governance to help create a more equitable internet and achieve the optimistic vision for all. So excited to get into this. You can discuss and see more of these topics about this in the Optimism Fractal space as well, or channel rather, on Warpcast. And just as a quick overview, so Optimism Town Hall is an open community forum, so feel free if there's anything you want to share, just to unmute yourself or to raise your hand or to write anything in the chat. And very curious to hear your thoughts. And yeah, basically just feel free to share your thoughts. And then we also have a method of choosing topics for each event too, which we call agendas or community agendas, where anybody can propose a topic, formally propose a topic by creating a poll in the Optimism Town Hall snapshot space, and then vote on topics with respect that you earned at the respect game in Optimism Fractal. And then whichever topic has the most votes on at Monday at 7 UTC will be discussed during the event. So that's basically the way it works. We've also experimented with other ways that you can vote real time, but that's basically the basic system right now, in addition to just feeling free to just suggesting topics at the week or at the events. And you can learn more about this at the article optimistics.io/agendas. So this is the snapshot space for Optimism Town Hall. Today, or this week, there's only one topic that was proposed, and that was about Optimism Season 6. So as I mentioned, it's a great opportunity for public goods creators and people who are interested in governance, all sorts of amazing stuff going on in Optimism Season 6. So I can provide a little overview of Optimism. I've been doing a lot of research into Season 6, and then we can just have a discussion if anybody has any questions or comments about anything or wants to share some thoughts. For example, I know Jean is very involved with Optimism Collective, working with one of the commissions. So if anybody just has questions or wants to share any reflections or anything like that on Season 6, then this will be a great opportunity here to do so, and curious to hear your thoughts. There's a page here where I provided more details, where I've been curating a lot of resources about Season 6 for Optimism in Notion. So I'll show that. And then also one update too is I did make an error here. So I wrote that key dates include seasonal kickoff and mission request deadline on June 27th, but it's actually the seasonal kickoff is on June 27th, but I think the mission request deadline is on July 8th. So it gives people more time to make mission requests. And then after that, grant applications will open on July 8th for missions, where people can earn funding by doing missions, like by building stuff on Optimism. And then the end of the season is on December 11th. So these are 6-month seasons. And this was the topic that was voted most to. So anybody can vote for other topics, and we could discuss other things too if we have a chance, but this will be the first topic we discuss. We put out tweets about this from Optimystics as well, which is a team that presents Optimism Town Hall too. So recommend and appreciate likes and retweets and share and so forth. And you can learn more there. I suppose if anybody wants to jump in at any point, raise their hand. Like I said, feel free, but otherwise I can just go into like this kind of introductory presentation. And I'll try to be quick and brief and just cover the main basics. But if anybody at any point wants to just share any thoughts, then feel free to do so. So very brief overview. I think everybody here is well familiar with Optimism, but if you're not, check out optimism.io. The Optimism Collective is working to build a world that benefits all and owned by none, with building together the Superchain on the open source OP stack. And there's working with Base and Fractal and Mode and Zora and Redstone. These are communities that are building on the Superchain and building great apps on chain, building amazing things that enable communities to govern themselves more effectively and build with all the benefits of being on-chain too. So check it out. Optimism is also very aligned and supportive of public goods creators too, with retroPGF, which is, as far as I know, the largest public goods funding mechanism in the world. It's a big supporter of Optimism Fractal, so really appreciate it and recommend everybody check it out if you're interested in public goods and the future of the internet. It's driven by the optimistic vision, which you can learn about optimism.io/vision. And basically, the Optimism Collective is working to build an equitable internet on the superchain with new models of digital democratic governance. It's a band of communities, companies, and citizens united by the axiom of impact equals profit. That positive impact to the collective should be rewarded with profit, and creating an economy that everyone thrives at. So there's a lot more here too that you can learn about, but that's kind of like a high-level overview, and recommend check out optimism.io/vision to learn about the vision that drives it, and just explore the Optimism website too. You can get involved with building and how the governance works and the various apps that are built on Optimism, the superchain. But I think everybody knows that, but I just felt like it might be helpful for anybody who doesn't know. And then Optimism Season 6. So I have a Notion project here, which I suppose I'll just go off and show first. Everybody's welcome to join and participate and collaborate in the Optimism Fractal Notion site, where I'm working and others are working on just like sharing helpful information as well as building the tools that we're building here and so forth. So I put together a little bit of an overview about Optimism Collective and how it's building on Ethereum and so forth. Some stuff that I just said right there. There's also this link to it I recently found, optimism.io/join, which actually has a lot of great resources too that I just really recently realized. So this is a good place to get involved with a good overview on the website. But yeah, Season 6 is a very exciting initiative. So I figure this is a good opportunity to share some educational resources and have a discussion about it. And one of the main opportunities is mission requests with funding, where people can both propose mission requests. So if there's something that you want the collective to fund that you think should be built, then you can request that a mission is created, which is kind of like creating your own grant program in a way. So that's coming up, as I said, on June 8th, I believe. And then after that, whichever mission requests are created, then people can apply for those mission requests and they can get funding by doing things that had been approved, basically. I believe there's something like 10 million OP that is up for funding in this round of Optimism Season 6 too. So there's some links here where you can learn more about it. For example, this Season 6, the Optimism Governance Forum is the best place to go for all details about what's going on in the Optimism Collective. It's quite well organized, and you can go into each one of these categories to learn more about it. For example, the grant section, citizen section, and so forth. There's a lot going on with governance, like the token house and citizens house and stuff like that, that we won't get into here because we're mostly talking about the Season 6, but recommend really diving into it because there's a lot that you can learn about if you're not yet familiar. And feel free to ask any questions if you do have any questions like that. But yeah, basically I have a whole bunch of tasks here. It might be a little bit disorganized, but this is just like read these articles and stuff, because there's a huge amount of articles basically on that governance site that lay out a lot of the information that I've been reading, and it can take a while to like really read through it and understand it all. So I figured this town hall could be a way to just share some of the knowledge I've learned, and then also just have some open discussions from anybody who's shared and learned stuff that they want to share or has any questions. I curated some of the best articles or most interesting articles for this, like Season 6 guide to Season 6 in this Notion page. And then this is from the governance forum, where you can learn more about how it works. There's also a video too that I recommend watching to learn more about it. So every 2 weeks, there's a token house community call or a citizens house community call. They kind of like rotate. So if you go to this page, then click here, then you can see a bunch of people in the Optimism Collective discussing these things. And there's like really nice presentations. It's about an hour and so forth, where you can learn about all the initiatives that come up. Those happen every other Tuesday, so recommend checking it out. And then, yeah, you can learn more about Season 6 by scrolling through this post. You can learn about the previous seasons and what's been going on and the new theme and the intents to progress towards decentralization, bring chains to superchain, and grow application devs on superchain. And a lot more details about this. There's so much going on, so many exciting things happening in the Optimism Collective. So many initiatives that we could dive into, but just giving you a high-level overview. I think maybe one of the ones that we might want to focus most is the mission requests, because mission requests provide a good opportunity for a lot of people to get funding by helping participate in Optimism. But also, if you're interested in leadership opportunities, you can get involved with, for example, the Anti-Capture Commission and the Code of Conduct Commission, where Gene has been involved with, the Feedback Commission. So many different communities you can get involved with too. So yeah, it's kind of an overview. There's also an article for the mission application guide too. So if anybody's interested in submitting a mission, then you can see this article to learn how to apply for mission grant and who can apply and so forth. It's all very well documented. So, and you'll be able to start applying for mission grants, I believe, on the 18th of July. And before that, you can go to create mission requests too. And as I said, that's kind of like if you want to create your own grant program, then you can do that. There's about 20 people in 2 different commissions that can actually formally create a mission request, but there's going to be a post basically where anybody can ask one of those people to sponsor it. So yeah, basically, I think I can go into more detail about it, but maybe I'll pause. I'm sure there's also more to. Oh, maybe one other thing I wanted to mention too. Maybe I'll just let everybody just absorb it for a minute and speak a bit slower. And as I said before, feel free if anybody wants to jump in with any thoughts. But each one of these articles, I only really shared one, but there's a whole bunch. Some of them are like personal, like I'm thinking about reaching out to people in the collective, but a lot of them are like just educational resources and stuff like that. So, and the whole community can get more involved. And then there's some related projects here, and one of the related projects is specifically about funding in the mission request. So I have a project specifically about opportunities for mission requests. So this is more specifically focused on ways to get involved with Optimism Collective Season 6. And I kind of went over this, but basically there's 3 ways to get involved with mission requests, and that's propose a mission request, complete a mission, or join the Grants Council, which has now been decided. So there's 2 ways to get involved now, and then there's this project for that. And then I suppose one other thing I'll mention too, I think I went over most of this in a high-level overview, is we're curating an events calendar for the Optimism Collective too in the Notion site. It's still a work in progress, as is all this stuff, but we have like the Optimism Fractal and Town Hall events, and another community we host called Eden Fractal. But then we're also curating all the events going on in the Optimism Collective and doing our best to do so. So there's Optimism office hours that happen every Wednesday, I believe at something like 14 UTC in the Optimism Discord that you can join to ask more questions about this. Everybody's welcome to ask at the town hall as well. There's a Citizens House and Token House meetings too, which is what I mentioned that I just showed before. These are the bi-weekly calls, which are probably like the core place to find details about like what's going on in the Optimism Collective with governance. And Michael, who's the host, he creates a thread where he does recaps and he posts all the videos of these community calls too. So I recommend following along with these. I enjoy listening to them each week, and you can also ask questions there as well. And then also there's several other events, like L2 Beat is the largest delegate, I believe, that has the most OP staked, and they do amazing stuff in the space. They host office hours on every Tuesday, I believe, where you can get involved and ask any questions. I've joined Christov and Sinkus, who work at L2 Beat many times to ask questions. That's a great resource to ask more questions as well. They know a lot. And there's also other events like Superchain Demo Day and stuff that you can get involved with. And then just this season, they announced a new Optimism Foundation office hours for builders, which will happen every Wednesday too. So I can share more details about that too. But I've been talking for a while, so maybe I'll stop my presentation there. Also, one other thing is retro funding too, which is, as I said, a huge opportunity for public goods creators. The round 4 is currently on, but the next rounds are coming up in August, September, and October for OP Sec governance and dev tooling. And these are a great funding opportunity. They're going to be giving away 40 million OP this year for public goods creators in the Optimism Collective and on the Superchain in general. So between missions, where you can propose a mission in advance for something you want to build, and then retro funding, where basically you do good work, and then the collective, badge holders and citizens aim to provide the funding, allocate the funding to decide who had the most positive impact. Those are like 2 of the core funding mechanisms where you can do work that helps optimism, and in return, get rewarded by doing proactive work and saying what you want to do with a mission, or by doing retroPGF. And that's kind of like a high-level overview of Optimism Season 6. So does anybody have any thoughts, questions, comments? I'm also, by the way, thinking about making some missions requests with Optimism Fractal. I think that, especially with the new software that Tadas has built with the Orec, that allows a contract to be totally decentrally owned by like basically respect holders who can then execute transactions. So we first actually applied for a mission for Optimism Fractal back in last September, and we made it to like a final round, but we didn't get funded for it. We were fortunate to get funded by retro funding, the founding team. And then I tried making another mission request a couple months ago in season 5, but we ended up not making it. There's Grants Council office hours too that you can join each week to speak with the Grants counselors, and I went there a few times, but just decided it wasn't the right time and there was too much other stuff going on. But now I'm thinking about making a mission request where people can get funded by joining Optimism Fractal events and by earning respect, or respect holders can vote on things to get funded and so forth. As well as maybe building educational resources for fractals and stuff like that. So that's one of the things I've been thinking about a lot, and perhaps we can discuss that. I know, for example, Abraham's been, I think, building tools for the Respect game or for Fractal apps and stuff like that. So it'd be great to get funding for people who participate and help out at Optimism Fractal in different ways. With the new intents and all the stuff we're doing, I think we can help Optimism Collective a lot. But then also Optimism Season 6 is open for anybody, for both Optimism Fractal participants and anybody else in the world who is doing cool stuff for Optimism. So happy to have discussion about whichever way. And I've been talking for a while, so maybe I'll just stop talking. I'm curious to hear everybody's thoughts. I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any details if you want. I know there's a lot of information here, so feel free to share anything on your mind if you'd like.
So I'm curious, in the context of a mission proposal, let's say a certain amount of OP were allocated for that, for there's, for Optimistics Respect game, then it would probably be up to us to try to figure out how to best spur growth in the community and in the game. Is that kind of what the idea is behind it? Like, we, rather than just applying for a single grant, it would be like we get a larger grant and then we are the approvers of the proposals, or is that really the intent of the missions?
Yeah, good question. Thanks for asking. So yeah, something I should have mentioned probably, and there's 2 different types of missions that's important to know about. And actually this season they kind of merged them. I was just actually in contact with Justine, who's one of the lead organizers behind Optimism Governance, and also Britches, who's serving as one of the, she has many positions, like as I think lead of the Anti-Capture Commission and several others, but she knows a lot about governance, and so both of them are like really knowledgeable. And they had both an update that there's now something, it's not like a hybrid grant system. So previously, over the past several seasons, there was something called a growth experiment grant, and there's something called a builder's grant. And the way that the builder's grant worked is that the builder's grant was like, if you wanted to go ahead and build something, for example, we wanted to build Optimism Fractal, or if you wanted to build a specific tool or an app or some sort of initiative, then you could say, hey, I want to build this. I'm requesting some amount of funding. I'm requesting 20K OP or whatever. You could request up to 50,000 OP to do so. And I could pull up links if that'd be helpful too, but I don't have them currently on me. So I'll just speak off the top of my mind and you can pull it off or share it if anybody wants more details about this. But yeah, basically, yeah. So yeah, the builder's grant, you could say you want to build something. There's a limitation on that where the OP wouldn't be received until 1 year. There's like a 1 year no sale rule basically, because they have some sort of legal complexities going on, which is why that is involved. And then there's another type of grant in addition to the builder grant, and that's called growth experiment grant. And the way that works is you can request funding to give to users of an application or to give to people who interact with an application, basically. This has a higher amount of funding that's available. Oh, and also I said up to 50,000 OP, but that's actually not entirely correct. So there's something called tiers, collective tiers. So if you've earned from the collective previously in retro funding or from the Optimism mission, then you can request more. You get a higher tier level, basically. So the entry level tier can request up to 50K OP for the builder's grant, and I believe 250K OP for the growth experiment grant. And then if you have built more and you've earned more and you kind of proven yourself to the Optimism Collective, then you can request up to, say, I don't know, 500K or 1 million or 2 million OP or something like that. All this is well documented on the article too. But yeah, just to get back to the basics, the growth experiment grant, it's to give out funding to users of application, like as incentives or something like that. There are some qualifications there. Like, for example, one of the reasons why I mentioned Tadas's work with Orec, which is a he calls it an optimistic respect-based executive contract, which is basically a decentralized contract that people who have earned respect can vote on to approve transactions. That's now like a decentralized protocol, so that's eligible for this growth experiment grant. It can't just be like you apply just as yourself when you're like, I want to give it out just my choice to like 100 people. It needs to be like giving it to some sort of protocol or some sort of like decentralized smart contract or something like that. And then from there, it could be like funding to distribute funding to different people. So for say Optimism Fractal, we could make so any one of us or some team could make a builder's grant to say, hey, we want to build this specific app, and do a builder's grant and say we need X amount of funding to do so. And then there's like a whole like there's an application basically that you fill out and say this is what it's going to be, here's what's going to help, and so forth. And then there's a rubric, and then the grants council would review it. And then if you wanted to also do a growth experiment grant, which you say, and now we also want to fund participants who join the events, or fund, say, we want to have it where, I don't know, say the Optimism Fractal people who have earned respect can help allocate that funding or something like that. Then we could use a growth experiment grant for that. Or if somebody had some other app where they're like just trying to give out, say, 5 OP to somebody for trying their app out, then a growth experiment could also work for that kind of thing too. So those are kind of the two systems. And now actually they just merge those two systems into one app, or into one mission request system, basically. So now you can make a mission request that is both part builders and part growth experiment. So there's that. And then during that mission request time, you can make your own mission requests. They'll probably just be like basic missions that you could apply to for builders grant or growth grant or something like that. But then also people have an opportunity to make more specific mission requests too, for something like that too, during that mission request period. And once again, that mission request period, if you want to make a mission request, then that's due by July 8th, I believe. And then by July 18th is when applications open for applying for a mission. And like creating your own, like basically say, I want to do this. And then from there, there's at least a couple cycles of doing that, in which time you can engage the Grants Council office hours, make your application, and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, that probably would be good to get some technical details on, because I imagine that if you have a clear plan on what you're going to build, then it probably increases your likelihood of getting approved for something like that. Yeah, it probably would be good for us to link up and try and figure out if we can do that by July 8th. It might be doable.
Yep. Yeah, sounds good. It was a pleasure speaking with you last week, Abraham, and I'm very happy to collaborate with you and anybody else who wants to help build stuff with Optimism Fractal, as well as anybody who's just interested in these things and wants to discuss and has questions or anything like that. And yeah, and we wouldn't necessarily need to do it by July 8th. If we wanted to make our totally own mission request then we have to do that by July 8th if we wanted to like make it more specific. But there'll be just mission requests that are approved that are probably applicable for what we'd want to build or what most people want to build in general. And in which case that application period to do so, to apply, would start on July 18th, and it would probably continue at least for a few weeks or a few months, during which case you can apply for that.
Okay.
So we'd have some time to organize it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for the questions, Abraham. Looking forward to collaborating, talking about that. Rosmari also shared the links to the Notion page too. She also shared a link to register for next week's Optimism Fractal Council too. So encourage everybody to register if you'd like to participate in the governance of the community and help make decisions and everything. And of course, anybody can make proposals for anything you'd like there. So that's all shared in the Zoom chat. And yeah, all those resources, I'll also share those, a link to that in the Discord as well, so people can follow up there. We have 3 minutes scheduled for the Optimism Town Hall remaining. I'm happy to go a bit longer if we'd like to. Curious, Jean, Rosmari, Hodlon, Snar, do you have any questions or thoughts, or if Abraham, anything else on your mind? Jean?
Yeah, like that was an exceptional display of complexity parsing. Like that was amazing. You rattled through optimism in no time flat, and like that's really neat. You know this stuff really well. And I yeah. I'm just, I have to say before we have to, I'm taken aback by the wonderful qualities that you guys have developed here. Like it's really neat to see, and I'm enjoying participating very much. So just wanted to thank you all for everything you've made so far. It's really cool. You're doing a wonderful job.
Wow. Thanks so much, Gene. I really appreciate it. Can't express how much I appreciate that. I'm glad you've enjoyed it so much. I'm really enjoying it too, and I'm really looking forward to collaborating with you too. And yeah, I really, really appreciate your feedback. It's amazing to hear. So thanks so much.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, of course, you guys deserve like way more accolades for what you've done so far. But in terms of like a philosophical kind of question to spin it on optimism, like, how do you feel about that? How complex it is to enter this space, and like what you've had to do personally to learn everything? Like, has it? I mean, has it been difficult? I mean, you don't display it like it's been difficult. It seems like you parse all this information readily because of your own capabilities. But like, I mean, what are your thoughts on how complex it is to participate in the ecosystem?
Thanks. Thanks for the questions and the kind words. And thanks, Hodlon and RSVP, for putting the hearts out too. Well, it is pretty complex, yeah. I mean, but I think it's also like the people who design these at the Optimism Foundation and the Collective, they have a difficult task to do, and like they're doing amazing work too, and I believe they deserve a bunch of accolades too. They are getting quite a bit of accolades, and Optimism is quite successful, which is great to see. But I'm looking forward to becoming much more successful in the future. And there's a lot of people doing amazing work, and it's difficult to innovate and try out all these new systems with retroPGF and Grants Council and all these commissions and stuff like that. And especially doing so in this kind of decentralized way as well, with the delegates and the token house and citizen house and so forth. So I have a lot of respect and appreciation for what the Optimism Foundation and the whole collective is doing too. And yeah, I've been learning about optimism pretty much full time for about a year now. And it's been for sure stressful a lot of times. Like when we were first making the application for Optimism Fractal, it was like working a lot of hours, sometimes late nights and so forth. And similarly with Optimism Fractal, it's been a huge amount of work too. So really appreciate so much everybody helping, as well as Rosmari. She's worked a lot too. And so yeah, over time, it just you can learn. It's kind of thing where you're probably not going to learn it all right away, unless hopefully this kind of episode can help explain that. And then just joining the kind of like those weekly events that Michael hosts helps a lot, and then trying to read the articles on the governance forums help whenever I get a chance. There's a lot there, so I can't read most of it, and some people are way more knowledgeable than me. But yeah, hopefully it'll be simplified. I know they're trying to do it, and in the meantime. It just takes some time to parse through it, basically.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I don't know that honestly that simplifying it too much in some sense, or adhering to the governance minimization principle, is even ideal in some way. Like there might be a way to kind of walk the line, right? So in some way, kind of mediate the idea. We'll figure it out together. But yeah, it's enjoyable really seeing it happen. Like how you guys are doing this. So, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Gene. And yeah, I agree. We'll figure it out together. And yeah, I mean, to some extent, not everybody needs to know all the details. Like, I don't know, like, majority of the details that's going on in the governance forum. I try to follow, but I can only follow a relatively small portion. But if we can, like, pull out the chunks that are most important for the most people, like, for example, missions is a good opportunity for lots of people, retro funding is, then educate people about those things. And then also, we're trying with, like, this very simple respect-gain process to also help out with, like, governance, and also this could help with evaluating public goods creators and helping to allocate funding. So having like simple systems and then explaining just the most essentials to most people and trying to deliver that as helpful as possible and like concise as possible, and then also providing more details to the people who want to get really involved, because it does just require some level of complexity basically to kind of run this whole system.
Yeah, you make it seem easy, but what is obviously exceptionally difficult. So yeah, well done to all of you that have done something, Rosmari and Dan and Abraham and everyone. Yeah, I apologize that I don't know everyone else that's contributed. Tadas, maybe I don't know all of the participants, but I'm very new. But thank you for letting me watch what's happened so far from afar. It's really neat.
You're very welcome. Man, thank you so much, Gene. Yeah, big shout out to Tadas building the tools. Big shout out to Vlad, another developer who started with the front end too. And so huge shout out to a lot of people I can mention. But yeah, really appreciate everybody's collaborations and contributions. We are a few minutes over the top of the hour, so like I said, happy to go over a bit. And we haven't heard from Hodlon or Snar or Rosmari, so I don't know if we want to wrap it up or if
Hodlon and Bitbecker too.
Shout out to Hodlon and Bitbecker too. Yeah, Hodlon was here since the second meeting.
Oh geez.
Yes. I don't know where we'd be without Hodlon. It was just me, Rosmari, and Tadas in the first meeting. And I feel like, is anybody going to join? Is anybody come? And then Hodlon came, and then it was awesome meeting him. And then he invited Zaal and a bunch of other people. And then he was also started working with Bitbeckers on developing or like outlining the product development for how the Fractal App could work and integrating with other communities. So huge shout out to Hodlon, and thanks to Hodlon for all the amazing stuff he's doing as well.
Thanks, Al. It's been great. It's a good
You're welcome.
community.
Yeah, it is. Thanks a lot, Hodlon. It's been awesome collaborating with you too. And yeah, any other thoughts? Rosemary, anything else want to say? Or Snar, you'd like to make any comments? Thanks so much, Snar, for joining. Really appreciate it. Hope you'll join us again for next week or the upcoming weeks. Always welcome to. Hope everybody will join us for Optimism Fractal. We have amazing things going on. We love to meet people. And as we talked about, this Fractal process is meant to grow a lot. So hope to see you all in future events. Does anybody else have any other thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap it up?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Oh, I see, by the way, Abraham said he got to run to a meeting. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you 2 explanation points. So yeah, thanks, Snar, for the heart. Thanks, Gene. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We'll be back for Optimism Fractal on a Thursday at 17 UTC for the 9th episode. By the way, we'll probably do a 12-week season and then a 2-week break after that, too, like we did previously. So that's coming up as I have balloons coming up because we did a peace sign, I guess. And yeah, Rosemary shared the link to the council. So register if you'd like to participate in next week's council. Feel free to make topic proposals or suggest any topics for next week's Optimism Town Hall. I don't know what we'll discuss yet, maybe tools or something, but that's open if anybody has any suggestions for what to discuss. Thanks all so much for the amazing event. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks everybody for watching. And I think that's probably it. We also have Eden Fractal on Wednesdays. If anyone wants to get more involved with these fractal decision-making processes, everybody's welcome to join Wednesdays at 16 UTC as well. And then that calendar events too. There's so many great events going on in the Optimism ecosystem too. So I recommend feel free to reach out with any questions in the Discord about Optimism Season 6. And then I'll share the links there, and then check out the calendar events that I showed before too. I'll put that on Discord so you can check out. There's events like every day to get more involved with the Optimism Collective and a bunch of great people you can meet too. And huge shout out to everybody who's been pioneering, helping the Optimism Collective and the Superchain grow and to thrive. I'm so excited to be in working with Optimism and all the amazing people. With that, I suppose feel free to reach out, jump out with any last comments. Feel free to jump with any last comments, but otherwise, maybe we'll say 3, 2, 1, go Optimism to wrap it up. Okay. Does that sound good? We sometimes do go Optimism Fractal, but I think go Optimism could work too. Sound good? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go Optimism!
Yeah.
All right, thanks all.
Bye, everyone.
See you.
Thanks.
Good.